So let's see if it adjusts it or if it doesn't get better. And maybe I just turn you up as loud as it can go. Hi Twitch, how are you doing? Oh, I think I might have figured it out. I think it might have been my fault. Try talking.
All right. How does this sound? Any louder?
Can you all hear him? Okay, they're saying it's
Right on.
better. Yes! So they can actually hear your answers now. Yay! So let's start this over. Okay. So this is Todd Harris from HiRez Studios. Can you explain one more time what you do?
Yeah. Hey guys. Glad you can hear me now. I'm from HiRez Studios. We're an independent studio in Atlanta, Georgia. There's about 50 of us. I am one of the co-founders of the studio and the chief operating officer. And about 15 of us are working on this game called SMITE that we're happy to talk with you about today.
Now, what is SMITE for people who might not know?
So for most of the world who's played League of Legends, the simplest way to describe it is third-person League of Legends-ish. It's basically a battleground between mythical gods. So you can play gods and goddesses from across world literature. We put them all into one battleground, and it has combat that feels kind of like PvP MMO, but within a battleground setting with lanes and towers and minions and a jungle and all those concepts people know from MOBA or Dota games. That's Smite.
And this is going to go ahead and go right into questions that people have asked on the website. And I'm just going to say to people that are watching the stream, if you have questions, go ahead and start posting them, and I'll be sure to at least ask a couple of them. But how often, this is from the website, this is from RTS Guru, how often do you plan on releasing new gods?
We want to release new gods at least every 3 weeks. Now that we're in beta, we'd actually like to get it closer to 2 to 2.5 weeks. That'd be about as fast as we could go. And so our plan is to stay at that fast pace, between 2 and 3 weeks until we get to around 30 or so, and then we would probably slow down to between 3 and 4 weeks. But definitely we want to release them quickly in beta and also obviously after release.
And will Smite be coming to Steam? Will it be available to buy on Steam?
We'll see. We just put Tribes on Steam, which is another high-res game, and so we tend to do things digitally. We don't put boxes in stores. So most likely when the time comes, you'll be able to get Smite at all your favorite digital storefronts, but we'll see.
I think someone just asked a question that I even asked myself at one point is in regards to the gods that you are planning on adding in the future, any plans to add Aphrodite?
Aphrodite,
That would be an interesting god to play.
Is that spelled with
yeah.
a PH or with an F?
PH, I believe.
Oh, okay, just checking.
You could always give her an afro. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, Aphrodite with the F. We do have concept art for that. No, Aphrodite is a popular request, and we do have concept for it, so I won't give any definite answers, but she's definitely a candidate.
And this is obviously from ancient religions, of course, but on the topic of religion, I'm not sure if you saw my game face covering the controversy that was surrounded about around the Indian gods. Oh my gosh, I'm having a huge blank at the moment. But
Yeah,
like
the middle,
Kali and
the
yeah,
Indian. Yep.
and so how are y'all reacting to this controversy? Because it is a sensitive topic. Religion is a sensitive topic for a lot of people.
Yeah, it definitely is sensitive. I mean, I guess there's two things to point out. One, just so everyone realizes, we have a super diverse team. At HiRez, we have every flavor of religion under the sun. I mean, we have Christians, Jews, Indians, atheists, people that defy any category, and of course, a lot of people that keep it private. So we definitely understand religion is a personal thing, but of course, we don't really see Smite as a game about religion. It's a game about fighting deities, and so we do look across world literature, and we picked a number of deities, and some people have been offended, and they have the right to be, but at the end of the day, actually, to be a game developer, I think you need to have a pretty thick skin because we get all sorts of feedback, right? I mean, it's the internet, and we've discovered people are not shy about having opinions over the internet. So, we got one gentleman who was upset about the inclusion of Hindu deities, and we've probably gotten, I think, 3 emails since then, also backing his opinion. But if you compare that to the amount of opinions and emails we got about Guan Yu being OP, that's about 100th. So at the end of the day, people will have their opinions, but we have to do what we think is right for the game, and that means including all sorts of characters from all sorts of world religions. So that's what we're planning to do, and we think most people will have fun with it. And of course, if people are offended by it, they can choose not to play it.
Exactly. I mean, that's about how you should look at it. And going into the game itself, esports. A lot of people in chat are asking about esports and how are you going to attract the pro gamers and what are your plans for that, if anything?
Yeah, we're definitely interested in that. We already have a version of Spectator Cam that we haven't put into the beta, but we use in development. So yeah, we're definitely interested in encouraging that scene. At the end of the day, it really comes down to the community and the teams and the leagues on what games they choose. So as a developer, we can encourage it by putting in the right features and hope that teams and players show up, and that's what we want to do.
At the moment, I'm not sure because I haven't played I haven't played a lot since I got sick. But can you have more than 3 people in a party right now? I thought I heard
Yeah,
something about that. Okay.
we added a 5v5 pre-made queue. So, and we'll continue to be adding other options. But yes, you can join kind of the public queue as solo or team, and you can join 5v5 queue.
Okay, that sounds awesome. And any plans to add different game modes
Um,
beyond the 5v5, obviously. So.
Definitely not in the short term. I mean, there's a lot of ideas we have around new modes and new maps as well. But, for now it's all about a few more features and adding more gods and goddesses for people to play. So that's really what we're focused on in the short term.
Are you going to be adding more gods before release?
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, we'd like to be closer to 30 before release.
And have you announced a release date?
And more cowbell.
Oh, and more cowbell. That'd be awesome if you just released a Will Ferrell god with cowbell.
Yeah, no, we've got
But has a release date been announced?
No, we'll do like we did with Tribes, which was, right now, really, it's closed beta. You get a key from a friend or from following a stream like this or some of the other streams we're helping to promote. But we're actually kind of controlling the growth a bit. And then we'll just gradually increase things over time. And when the game feels really ready and polished, we'll take off the beta tag and call it released. But we don't have a announced date for that yet. It's really going to depend on when we have enough gods and when the gameplay feels really solid and balanced.
That sounds good. And someone asked in chat, will you be able to bind combo keys at all, like your shift keys, and change those around?
Yeah, just like key bindings as far as movement and powers and that sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll plan to support key mapping.
And do you plan on making this for Mac at all? Switching it or moving it to the Mac client as well?
That's something we'd like to do, but it would come after we get all the features and again more gods. So we'll take a look at that when the time comes. But it's not something that I would expect to be done in the next, let's say, 3 months, certainly.
Okay. What is the plan for your business model, and how are you going to avoid including power buying, basically?
Yeah, so that's one thing that, Riot established a really good model around that people understand. So the plan is that we'll release new gods. You can unlock gods through gameplay. In Smite, it's called favor, which is equivalent to XP. And so anything that affects the game, you'll be able to get by playing the game. And then you can unlock gods faster with real money. It's called gems in Smite, and we'll have skins also, which will be gem purchases only. So try to keep all of our games real balanced while keeping them free to play.
And balance, is that hard to do? Because just like League releases tons of champions, I imagine balance is pretty hard in this game.
Yeah, it is hard. I mean, that's what Travis, our lead character designer, he obsesses about that. So it's hard because you have all the stat elements that you'd have in any MOBA game like Dota or League or Han. But then you also have this element of the player's skill, right? Because they're moving their character and everything's a skill shot. And so you also have to factor in how good a player is going to be at actually landing those things. So yeah, balance is tough, but we tend to obsess about that and spend a lot of time on it. And we do internal testing, but certainly right now in the beta phase, we're releasing new gods pretty quickly, and so we test as much as we can. We release them, and then we keep an eye on them after release, so that if we have to make adjustments, then we do.
And that sounds good. Are you going to be adding skins in the closed beta?
We are. We actually have, I think it's 4 or 5 in now. I think 5, and more coming. So yeah, we'll start that in closed beta, and we'll keep adding new skins as we go.
Will there ever be a courier implemented into this game? We could use Mohammed as a skin for it. Someone asked that in chat.
Probably will not have a Muhammad skin. I can almost guarantee that.
I'm imagining it's the same with Jesus, because there's been a lot of people asking, are you going to put Jesus in there and is he going to be overpowered?
Yeah, we'll probably stay away from those. We've been asked that, and the honest answer is they kind of be boring from a gameplay perspective. I mean, they'd be support characters, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Uh, but we're not opposed from looking at other characters. I would say from the Bible that are not human and are not considered to be prophets, or actually more like gods with really extreme superpowers. So there's plenty of ideas there we could draw from.
Do you plan on giving more favor for each win? I guess some people feel like it's kind of low at the moment for a win.
We'll look at that. I mean, throughout beta, we're going to adjust favor. Right now, we definitely think that we're not too stingy in general for playing the game, in that people that are playing regularly seem to be able to unlock gods pretty quickly, but that's part of what we want them to do. So we'll take a look at values for, just playing the game as well as the win bonus over time.
And how are you going to go about nerfs? Because nerfing, I imagine, isn't going to be easy. Unless something's just ridiculously overpowered, you have to be really careful when you do nerf to make them to where they're still playable and people don't just drop them because they're no longer useful. So,
Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, there's no real science to it. It's definitely an art. So we try to do small tweaks where we can, and in most cases, a small nerf is enough to bring something in line. And actually, other than Guan Yu, where we've already kind of said that we definitely released him a bit OP. Given the amount of gods that we had at beta and looking at the data from playing to date, actually the team feels really good in looking at the metrics, and that they're all pretty viable and pretty balanced. So that gives us good confidence that going forward we can keep things in line. But it will never be perfect, and we'll just try to react quickly when we notice something that's out of balance.
that sounds good. Let's see, there was another question I wanted to ask, and I think what is the purpose of shrines for gods?
Shrines is not something we're revealing all the details about, but it's basically going to be persistent leveling and buffs. So again, akin to something like a rune system. So small, persistent buffs that as you level, increase the power of your character in certain small ways. So that's the general idea for it.
And I imagine the feedback you've been getting from people who are in the beta and have tried out the game has been relatively positive.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the nice thing I think about it is we're really drawing these two different audiences together. One is people that are playing other MOBA games like Con or Dota or LoL and just want to try out the twist of the third person camera and see how that goes. And then we're also seeing a lot of other players coming from MMO PvP, more like Battlegrounds background, that
Yeah.
had a lot of friends that were doing MOBA, but they could never really get into it because for whatever reason, it wasn't for them. They didn't like clicking around the map, or it didn't feel easy to control for them. And so what's nice is we're seeing both those gaming communities come in and enjoying Smite.
Yeah, it certainly is different. And the whole you have everything is basically a skill shot is a challenge for a lot of people, and I could see how some people might not like that, but of course there are people who love that, and it certainly takes a lot of skill to be good at champions that are the gods that have all skill shots versus the ones that sometimes just have AoEs and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's different enough. I think that that's what people tend to appreciate is they understand how it's different, and then once they play, they can quickly feel if it's either for them or not for them. But it doesn't really feel like just another copycat with new art of gods, for instance. The gameplay does feel different, so people can decide for themselves whether it's for them or not.
And as I was playing, because I've played quite a few matches, I was wondering, I felt like the towers were kind of ignored once people reached around level 8, and they weren't powerful at all. And I would often get tower dove by everybody. It wasn't just, the tanky gods, it was everybody. And so are there any plans to maybe make those more powerful, or is that intentional?
I mean, they do tend to be pretty powerful, and actually they're more powerful when based on kind of the minion strength that's around them to help support them. So that is in the design. Certainly there's some potential to try to dive them, but generally what we've seen is the power is about right. I mean, we tend to see them fall about in the game when we'd expect, and see most of the games ending, kind of around that 45-minute mark based on towers, and then Phoenixes going down before that.
Yeah, all my games have seemed to be around 40 minutes, so that's good.
Cool.
Do you plan to bring in a draft system into 5v5 matchmaking once more gods are in the game?
Um, Probably, yes. I mean, we're focused first on just building more gods and making it again a fun experience. Like we said, there's the casual jump in queue, and now we've got the 5 versus 5 pre-made. But certainly down the road, as the players get even more competitive, we'll look at some kind of system around drafting and banning, but no timeline around that at this point.
Okay. And do you plan to make it possible to deny towers and minions?
No.
Where did you get information? Where did you get inspiration to make a game like Smite?
Well, we actually started out, as you may know, again, our studio developed a couple other games, including Tribes, and before that, a game called Global Agenda that was a third-person shooter MMO. And actually, we started with the idea of a game type around Global Agenda that was MOBA-ish, in that it was going to use those characters, and it was going to have some towers, and it was going to have some NPCs from the game, and that's what it was going to be. And we even built and prototyped that game, and it was pretty fun, but we thought two things: that the gameplay would be more fun not using guns and science fiction weapons, but using things that had a smaller range, like spells. And then from a theme perspective, we thought, well, there are really probably better themes out there for this type of game. And so we debated multiple themes and came up on the idea of different gods and goddesses from world literature and mythology across different cultures. And everyone here got really excited about that theme. I mean, the character artists were were way on board because there's awesome reference material. It would let us do some gods that everyone knows, like Zeus. I mean, everyone just knows that's going to be a mage who uses lightning. But also we could pick crazy obscure gods like Vamana, the little baby that turns into the giant, and kind of just expose people to these crazy gods that most people haven't heard of. Crazy not in a derogatory sense.
Yeah.
Crazy in that they're just obscure. And so that was really the cool opportunity that both our character artists and designers got excited about. So.
A lot of people in chat have asked if you would explain the patch notes that are coming out, or the patch that's coming out. Sorry.
The patch that is coming out, there is a new skin in the patch. There's a bunch of various bug fixes. There is one of a big emphasis for improvement for us that we even did some work on today, bringing the servers up and down a few times, is around matchmaking. So there's a bunch of science that goes into trying to get good matches, and that's a big priority for us as well. So those are new skin, bunch of bug fixes, and improved matchmaking are some of the items.
How will you deal with gods that have similar abilities, like Zeus and Thor? Will you add gods that have similar attributes, and make them different, or will you just avoid adding them?
Um, we definitely wouldn't consider like Zeus and Thor to have too much overlap. I mean,
Mhm.
that sort of thing, there's definitely different enough abilities. So we probably, we wouldn't do a character that's kind of the same, Zeus and Jupiter, obviously, like Greek and Roman, where it's just more or less the same or a different name for the same god, we wouldn't do. But in your example, I mean, Zeus and Thor, those guys could definitely coexist and have very different power sets.
Yes. Now, do you plan on having like community requested gods? Because I know that, the community, there are quite a few that have ideas of what they'd like to see in the game and play. Um, any plans to ever do that?
Yeah, I think that's, we're always interested in community feedback. We always get more than we can act on right away, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, down the line, I mean, the team's got a pretty big pipeline of gods and goddesses that they already have planned out because they want to hit all the major different pantheons that we've already identified. There's 5 groups that we decided we would start with, and also they're looking at different game roles. We want to make sure we have enough dealers of magic and physical and tanks and characters that can jungle well. But all that said, yes, down the line we definitely want to look at community requests and have a system to try to have some god ideas come from that.
Someone in chat asked, do you plan to make the jungle less maze-like? It feels that there are too many paths to get from lane to lane.
That's interesting feedback. There's no plans towards that right now. Again, that's something we'll keep a look at. That's one of the elements, obviously, with SMITE and the third-person perspective. Definitely using those lanes and routes to your advantage can be a big differentiator. That's something I could get a lot better at myself in the game for sure, because I get caught going the wrong way often. So no plans to change that, but we'll take a look.
I actually honestly like the jungle because I can run from people really well in it with my trap and whatnot, so that's always fun.
Yeah, I mean, again, the maze, like to us, I think was kind of part of being there, and with the less visibility. I mean, I kind of like the tenseness of when you're turning around to run, which you have to do to not move slower, and you maybe don't know exactly what's ahead of you, and you definitely don't know what is behind you. That to me creates really good tension and is part of what makes the game different from some other MOBAs.
Now people are asking how to get into the beta, and aside from streams giving, doing giveaways, they can still pre-order the game and get in, right?
Yeah, they can. So they can obviously watch streams, or every person that gets in, we do give a couple beta keys too, so they can pass them on. And then if they go to smitegame.com, we have a bunch of different pre-order sets. So if someone wants to just order the really the lowest price gem pack, which is around $8, which would let them immediately unlock 2 gods, that will get them a key into the game. They can also go for like a $20 pack, and they can get more gods with that. So the more you spend, obviously, you get a discount. But you can get into the beta for as little as $8 by pre-ordering, or just find yourself a friend who has a couple keys.
Someone just asked about how often you're going to release the new gods, and he said earlier they're going to shoot for around 3 weeks.
That's right, around 3 weeks. Probably a little faster while we're in beta, and a little slower once we get out of beta, but around 3 weeks.
Will there be anything planned for people that participated in closed beta, like a special skin, a little favor bonus, or forum titles or anything?
Yeah, we tend to do that. We did that with GA and with Tribe, so haven't identified what that is, but we always appreciate the people who help us in beta, so we'll come up with something.
And any plans to add another ranged AD carry? Like Artemis?
Like Artemis?
Yes.
Yes, there are. Can't reveal any more details, but yes, definitely.
Soon.
Well, we can say a little bit about it because HiRez has already said it on the forums. Three out of the 4 next gods that are planned at the moment will be ranged AD, according to HiRez. So.
Yeah, I can neither confirm nor deny that, but it's definitely a priority to get.
Yeah,
to get
yeah. I mean, that could change completely.
Are the gods going to have hidden passives like the champions in League of Legends?
Yeah, most of our gods do have some decently significant passive associated with them.
But not hidden ones. People are talking about things that don't make the tooltips and stuff
Hidden. No, that's right. No, we're trying to be transparent with the powers.
And Cadbury wants to know if Todd will touch his forehead.
Yes, if you bring the appropriate oils, then I will apply them.
Well, awesome. I think it's about time to wrap up the questions. Of course, we can probably still ask them to Duke while we're playing the game, if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm going to hop off, but I know Duke's going to play with you guys, and also Pokket, if there's other questions that you want to collect, then we can do a follow-up Q&A on anything that didn't get answered. So
that sounds good.
All right, cool. Enjoy the game. Carry hard, Artemis.
I'll try. Okay.
Bye, guys.
So right now we're gonna switch, and I'm actually gonna play the game with Duke, and it's going to be exciting. I'm gonna try and carry.
Carry hard.
I'm gonna try. That's what you need to note there.
Yeah. No. But you're still recovering. You were sick last week, right?
Yes.
So we can always say that you were recovering no matter what happened.
Yeah. It's the cough medicine getting to me.
Yeah. If we really win hard, you can say, "Imagine if I wasn't recovering." And then if we lose, then you can say, "Yeah, well, I was recovering." So
it's not my fault.
Yeah. You've got a solid excuse no matter what.
The stream is lagging.
It is a little bit. You're kind of hitching on my screen, it seems.
Why is that, I wonder? Maybe it's because I'm in charge of the stream call. Let me drop out, and then if you want to start the stream call, or the Skype call.
Skype call? Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to play the game. Wow, that's really loud. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
People in chat need to let me know if it's any better at all. If it's still laggy.
Yeah, everyone might want to refresh just in case, but...
Yeah. Because everything looks fine on my end.
Someone says it's Skype, everyone's having issues lately.
Yeah.
Skype can be a bandwidth hog at times.
Yes, it definitely can be. Wow, it's still a slideshow. Well, I don't really know how to fix that because everything looks fine from my end. Maybe I could try restarting the stream, but I don't know if that would fix it.
Cyberwire says it's Twitch, not just you.
Oh, okay, it's Twitch.
Twitch's servers.
It is kind of prime time for a lot of people to start streaming.
Yeah, I'm checking their front page right now. Let's see.
Yeah, because some people are saying other people are streaming. Get a new server. So I should switch servers real quick on the stream, Gracklin. XSplit's messing up as well, apparently.